Yeah, my fault.
No, not your
Anyhow,
fault at all. Not your fault. I think it's all to do with WA driving. Is that what you said?
yeah, absolutely. WA driving is terrible, but that could just be me. It could be on me. Like there is that. So
Well, it's funny when it gets wet here where I am because it's semi-tropical. The minute it rains or we go from like heat to the rain, the tires get fat and then there's loads of accidents. So you gotta be super careful.
actually, really, really great segue into bottlenecks is the freeway and people driving poorly is a bottleneck to the traffic moving.
Talk to me about silver linings. That's gonna be next week's conversation, all right? That'll be much better. All right.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is how we turn something that's bad into something that's amazing.
Silver linings is next week. This week is, all right, welcome everybody to the Social Butterfly, where we go live weekly unpacking things like silver linings and bottlenecks and turning good to bad and going from good to great. I'm often joined and always joined by my business coach, Michael Clift, who is adding an extra 500K into your revenue, as well as some other things as well, which is incredible. And I'm Katrina from Butterfly Media, and we are taking your socials to sales, bringing 8 clients in 90 days. Today, we are talking about, before I get into that, hi, Michael.
Hi.
Michael's internet is running really well. It just doesn't look like sometimes out here, so he may turn it on and off. But as long as we hear his amazing words, that'd be great. So today we are going to talk about bottlenecks, funnily enough, and how you could be the bottleneck in your business, or what is the bottleneck and how we can run around it and deal with it. So welcome to the Social Butterfly, everyone. Great to have you here. Michael, bottlenecks, besides on the freeway, because I think we all know a freeway bottleneck. How would you get out of that one? If you've got advice on that over everything, then your job's done. You can advise us on that.
Find the nearest exit, get your exit buddy, get out. Like, it's not always that easy.
I reckon it's like, don't get on the freeway until 2 a.m.
Again, it's not always that easy.
All right, let's talk about bottlenecks. Bottlenecks in business. There's a good one. Sometimes hard to see, right? Sometimes they're the blind spot. Aren't they?
Yeah, more so as like us as people than for anyone else that's around us. Like, how do bottlenecks happen is probably a good question.
Let's take a look at the founder journey, maybe, or the business owner journey, where they start off on their own, start to bring in people, can't expand. It's all on them. It's generally the story, but I know you've got some conversations around it. So
yeah,
where would you like to start, Michael?
I think how do bottlenecks happen, just at a very basic level, is that if you look at a business and your business isn't growing or the growth is slowing down, it's generally because of constraint, and it's generally one of 4 things. It's either in your marketing, it's in your sales processes, it's in your operations, delivery, SOPs side of things, or it's people. And unfortunately, for most businesses that, let's call it, doing anywhere from $250,000 to about 5 million, is the biggest constraint of those businesses is actually the business owner.
Very much so.
And a lot of that does come from they're like trying to transition from being a founder of that business into being a CEO, or they may not even be thinking about that. But what happens is they start doing all these things, and then they feel like they are the only person that can do the thing, and it flows on from there. But I do have 5 specific areas that I've found with my clients over the last few years, and then working in different operations and through small business for the last 20 odd years, I've found that these 5 tend to be the biggest ones for most people. And I think if I rattle through, almost everyone that listens to this has one of these challenges. Is it all right for me to start there?
Let's go there. Let's go with the top 5.
All right. I want to start with leadership and decision making.
Yeah.
So every decision you make, you can be a bottleneck just by being the person who has to make every decision. And if you position yourself to have to be the one that signs up on something, you then become a bottleneck. because you only have so much time in a day. When to like kind of identify if it is a bottleneck or it's going to be a bottleneck. If you think or say, I'm the only one who can do this, it's a bottleneck. I'm the only one who can do this good enough. Everyone else is not good at this. I'm the only one that can do that. Or variations of that.
All my clients only want to speak with me. That
That
one.
is such a perfect one, because I talk to that for a second, because I'm
Yeah.
about to, like, I've got some notes on how to overcome it, but that's like such a good one that I want to talk about it for a minute.
Yeah.
And I even have a client example of, we've got a multiple $1 million business. There are over 200 clients, and the business owner still has that, oh, the clients only want to talk to me.
Wow. How are
That
they getting
business
time?
owner, well, that's the problem. They're a bottleneck. They don't have time. And from that particular point of view, the shift that we've made that has given them space is, we're transitioning clients away from them. But what they actually were doing is, they weren't handing off delivery when they talk to clients. So if a client asked them, oh, yeah, we've got this going on, or we want your opinion, they were then trying to do the delivery as well. So not only were they doing the communication, they were trying to do delivery when people came to them. So we've transitioned to, when they get that communication in, they're like, absolutely, I'll get the team onto it for you, and they'll come back to both yourself and myself as to when it's finished, and making sure that you're okay. So we're transitioning them through that process. So they're starting to let go of that a little bit. There's still a point of contact, but that was the starting point. And then the team is showing up doing a good job, so that that person starts trusting the team. And then what we're in the process of doing now, because this is when you've got 200 clients, this takes a little bit of time to do, is we're transitioning them to an account manager. Whereas when they come through, we're firstly doing an introduction with the owner and the account manager. And so that it's like, hey, this is our account manager. This is your guy. He's going to be the key guy that takes care of everything. Don't worry, I'm still here. I'm supporting him, and he'll be in contact with you regularly. What then happens, obviously, is the person still contacts the business owner. And they go, no worries, I'll get the account manager onto it. He'll be all over it. He'll come back to you. He'll get the resolution done for you. And then he'll let me know that it's all taken care of. And what we can do is, if it's urgent, you don't want to dismiss it. But the short term that we're doing is, with some of these clients, that they would talk to, some days it feels like daily, but on a very regular basis, because they're a high touch business, is we've set up some 15-minute monthly meetings with these guys. So there's still a touch point, so they can bring any concerns there. So that we're just, I guess, for want of a better term, weaning them off the owner, and showing them that the team is actually doing the work anyway, and the team can look after them.
It's funny you say that. I had an incident this week where a client came back to one of my team members and wanted some stuff fixed, and the old me jumped in. Right, I'm kicking myself, right? So they actually wrote the email back to my team member and said, these are my concerns. They asked my team member to go and deal with it, and I saw it and went. So I let it go for 24 hours. We had a discussion, the team member and I, and came up with a plan, but I needed to get back to the client to tell them what was going on. And instead of letting them do it, I did it. And I went, uh-oh. And then the reply that came out from the client was, okay, great, I'll leave it with you. But I could tell the client was like, why are you jumping in? Right?
Yeah.
Even the client was like, what? And I went, that's right. We've got team members. Get out of the way, right? Get out of the way. It's hard.
That's a good example of like the leadership decision making as like the number one. So the ways that we overcome that is, we need to empower our people through expectations and communications, and put them in the position where they can do the work. They are going to make mistakes, but like, that is how they learn. Then we provide them the training to ensure that they are supported, so that they can deliver to the level we want them to deliver, and to overcome mistakes when they make those mistakes. We set them up with SOP, so they have a very specific way of, like, the standard way we operate to get it done. so that they have a reference point if they forget or they don't know or are unsure what to do. And then we make sure that we have values instilled with our business, because what's going to happen at any given time in a business, something is going to go wrong that we have not accounted for.
Mm.
And when that goes wrong, there is one thing that everyone goes to, and it's to their values. If they can't talk to you, they go to their values. And we want to, I don't want to say indoctrinate comes to mind. It's probably not the right word. People might be upset when I say that, but we want to bring people in and get them to share our values as a company on what is important, because otherwise their personal values that they're raised with, ideally we want them to like 70 or 80% at least align with the company. It's better if it's more than that, but they will just go to, if my value is I value my time, I work 9 till 5, I don't want to deal with a big chunky solution for this person, I'm just going to do a quick fix. That may not provide the best client experience. Now and when I say value their time, it doesn't mean that they have to work until 10 o'clock at night to get that resolved, but they may need to have a conversation with someone else to say, hey, this is going to take longer to get done. How can we help, and what can we get it to happen there to give that client the best possible experience? And it also kind of dictates the layers of communication and things like that. So training, empowering your people, SOPs, values, and just creating the space so that they can actually do it. That's what I would consider number one.
And also, I just want to make note there, the thing I've learned over the last couple of months with my clients is they know that I've got a team and they expect some movement. So like I have an expectation on how I want to deliver the service, and they've got an expectation on how they receive it. And even in their words, they're like, we can't believe how smooth your team is, Kat. Like they're expecting movement that might not always just deliver straight up. So I think the bottleneck is also understanding that your clients get it. Do you know what I mean? They get it. They've got an expectation too that is probably gives you more allowance.
So I'm gonna grab that and go to what I have currently is number 5 and bring it up to number 2.
Okay.
and talk about mindset, right? And what we have when we're used to handling all the client work or client communications or the accounts or our marketing or our other different pieces of our business, is we are used to being the one that does it. And the biggest problem with change is not that people don't want to change, it's the fear of what they lose. So there's a lot of like limiting beliefs around when we're as a bottleneck. Like that mindset can really keep us small. Because if we believe, oh, someone else can't do it, or we've got that fear of, if I don't do it, is it going to work, or is that person up to the challenge for being able to do it? And I guess how we identify that is when we continue to do things and you start hearing commentary around, oh, we've always done it that way. Oh, yeah, but that's the way it's been done before. Oh, yeah, well, we haven't really looked at it because we've done it like that for the last 3 years. And that kind of stuff is, the way you overcome it is we gotta change the environment, we gotta challenge our beliefs, and that can be a very value-driven thing. And, I have a company that I'm working with right now that is currently going through what they're calling their like 2.0 version of their company. And
Right.
they showed me this presentation they've just rolled out with their team, and it's reinstilling the mission, and it's all about customer experience and customer first and wanting to deliver that best possible level of experience for their clients at a national level. And then all the values that are required to do that, so that then everything that they do gets questioned as to, okay, does this deliver the best possible experience? If someone does something, oh, well, is that going to deliver the best possible experience? If someone doesn't do something, is not doing that delivering the best possible experience? So we're challenging our belief system.
Every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every day.
Because is your like if you have a direct line of communication in your team now set up for your clients, is you stepping in, providing the best possible experience.
That's right. And it hit me hard in the face, and I went, oh.
Because how many things as a CEO of your business do you have to do, Katrina? Yeah, your face says it all. A lot,
Yeah.
right? Which means, and like that's for all of us too, right? Which means that we are not necessarily the best point of contact for our clients to get the best possible outcome. In fact, a lot of the time, by wanting to be that, we slow the process down, which actually means they don't get the best possible experience because we might have 50 emails that we have to get back to, or we like there's a whole heap of problems that are all equally as urgent. So I'm just working down the list kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas when we have a team, we can just divide and conquer and split it up between everyone and get it resolved.
Yeah. All right. So
So
leadership and training mindset next.
yeah, I'm actually going to go up now and instead of going down. So I'm going to go to people because it's a good segue to where we are. So having what we were just talking about as people and not like maybe the fear of failure and them not being able to necessarily do the thing. The bottlenecks around people, the first thing that we've got to look at is, and I find is a very big bottleneck that is generally generated by the owner or the manager or a leader of a team is the expectations aren't clear and there's poor communication. And I'm quite fond of saying communication and expectations will fix like 90% of your problems.
So does. Every time I think I've got a problem, I go back to those 2 words and I go, I don't
Yeah,
have a problem anymore. Go do it.
yeah, and so that expectations and communication is a massive bottleneck around people in majority of businesses that I start working with, and I see it all the time, and there's a lot of misconceptions around employees not being right fit or not being the right person that are the result of lack of expectations and not enough communication around what like both what they've done well, what didn't quite work, and what they should be doing going forward. So the back part of that is because there's poor communications and expectations, there's a lack of accountability. Because how do you hold someone accountable to doing the thing if they don't know that they've got to do it? Or you haven't like if you come in and go, oh, I've really got to get rid of this person, and you bring a HR consultant in to help you with it, and they're like, well, what's their job role? And they don't really know.
Mm.
And you're like, oh, so what do they do on a day-to-day basis? Oh, well, they kind of do this. And like, oh, so do they know? And they don't. Well, you're not getting rid of that person anytime soon because you've actually got to go through and structure out what their day looks like and how they can do it and actually give them a fair go. So that is not having the communications, then not having accountability makes it very difficult and it slows business down. There is on the other side of that for all the people that are going, oh well, Michael, some people are just terrible. Like
But if you've got
we
everything in place, you'll pick it up so quick.
yes, well what I refer to it as is we give people every opportunity to succeed, but we leave them no place to hide.
I love that.
And what we do find then is we have misaligned employees within our business. There's people that aren't job fit because they don't have the skill set and they're not willing. Like the next part of that is they don't have the or right attitude, and then they don't have the willingness or capacity to learn,
There's,
or
yep.
their values just simply aren't right for our business. Like they believe things that are directly opposite for our business. Like that. So, and like a really easy example of this is the person that just wants to get everything done as fast as humanly possible. Now, if you deliver a premium quality service that is detail based with the expectation that we are going to do this, and they're here just bashing everything out as fast as humanly possible, it's not going to be as detailed.
Mm.
It's not going to have all of it. Like, and look, there is a case that you are a unicorn and you have your systems and everything so fine tuned that you can leave that out. Um, is, but it's yeah.
There's that saying, that old saying, right? Attitude is everything. And it's not until you start working with people that you realize how true that is. It's incredible. Attitude is everything. You can train into people if they're willing. Oh my God, it's unbelievable what you can do with a good attitude.
Yeah,
so yeah,
absolutely.
definitely. And you've got to have frameworks, and that's one of the hardest things as an owner who's done it all themselves, to put their brain down into a framework that someone else can understand. Like, I've been working with my team, one team member, for nearly 3 years, and I remember trying to tell her how we do things here, and it took me ages to get her to get it. Now she gets it. Now she just builds frameworks left, right, and center. It's incredible, right? I just go, we're doing this now. And she's like, right? But initially, just to get it down, I was like, why? What isn't she hearing? Why can't she hear me properly? I think I'm saying it, right? I've said it all the different ways I think I could say it, right? And it's not until I come back to you and say, no, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. That, it's the hardest thing, is to get your brain down when you're not used to doing it.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
absolutely. So people is a big one, and
Huge.
with a lot of this so far, like when we're looking at it as, hiring for culture, we need to have vision, the value, the clear expectations, communication training. The last three that I've talked about, and the next two that I'll talk about, we've just got to, so a lot of the time we've got to look at ourselves. And it's interesting. I've just seen Jeff has popped up with a comment that's got in front of me. So go, Jeff. Is that it says that all we're talking about is symptoms, because what all the things that I'm going through, to acknowledge what he's saying, actually is about us as a business owner and what we accept as people within our businesses. So, and a lot of the time I find that is because we don't have exposure to other things. Now, obviously, there's certain people that they just believe this is the way to do things and this is how it is and it's my way or the highway. But a lot of what I've found is not having exposure to the right thing. So, from overcoming the people, it's hire for culture. Get a greater reason why in your business, so that you can have conversations around, okay, well, we're doing this because of this reason. Hey, does this help us get to here? So all the conversations line to a reason, and then clearly communicate it and train your people. All right, marketing and sales. Do you want to talk about marketing and sales bottlenecks, or do you want me to talk about marketing and sales bottlenecks?
Tell me what you want to talk about. It's a big one. And you've got to be good at it. All right. What do you want to talk about?
I think that most people just don't even know who they're talking to. They have no idea who their client is.
In relation to bottlenecks, yes. So not understanding your ideal client profile, your ICP, your avatar, whatever marketing jargon you want to put on it, but not understanding who you're selling to. Yeah.
The bottleneck for that is we either have too many leads coming through, so we just have everyone coming to us, but they're not right fit, so we can't correctly process it. Or on the other side, we can't grow because we don't have enough leads. And the interesting thing about it, when I talk to a lot of people about who they work with and really going, who are you focused on and what does your business look like and what is the key person that you're talking to, is they want to be as wide as possible because they're scared that people will get lost along the way.
There's an element of that. There's also an element of they just don't know. In your words, they haven't spoken to enough people yet.
Yeah.
And that's just time and experience in the trenches, figuring out how to serve someone better.
Yeah. And a lot of that to do is there's too much internal focus. So they're very focused on, oh, this is the product that we deliver.
Mm.
So this is what we do. Okay, that's good. But what does it mean to the person that's buying it?
Mm.
Why do we care? And it really slows the marketing down. And then one thing that I mention all the time that I'm going to throw in here is we make buying decisions for people.
It's classic. Classic. That's got to go on a t-shirt somewhere.
Yeah. We make buying decisions for people. We need to stop doing that. So to overcome that, it's really client first focus, one person, one problem, one solution, and just stop getting in your own way.
With all the
Sometimes it's easier said than done, right?
it's a lot.
So
it's a lot. All right, so the bottlenecks: leadership and training, mindset, people, sales and marketing. What was the last one?
operational inefficiencies.
Yes. Yeah. So it's a lot to look at if you're gonna open
Yeah.
up that bucket as well. So there are lots of buckets, and you're always juggling them.
Yeah, so I have the brief version.
Yep.
Is usually people have unnecessarily complicated setups with a lot of custom builds for clients at the start because we're bringing a lot of people in. We're like, oh yeah, we can do that for you. Yeah, we can do that for you. Yeah, we can do that for you. And it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, which makes it very hard. And then because it's too customized, there's no real set way to do things, which means no one knows what to do, when to do, how to do it, what's happening. And that's for our marketing. We don't know the steps that we need to take consistently every day to attract clients. For our sales, we don't know when, like, how many calls does it take to convert someone? What emails do we need to send to them? When, like, what does an onboarding process look like? We don't have any of that set up. We're just like, we took a call, now we send them a proposal and we hope that they're going to sign up, kind of thing. And that proposal isn't even consistent because it has like 34 different pages of different things and we added in another 3 for this one or whatever, right? One of the main way to combat this is we've just got to get really close to what we do. We need to simplify who we like. And this is a hard thing it's an easy thing for me to say. It's a hard thing to wrap your head around because a lot of people have these clients and then we've got to simplify, which means that not every client is still going to be for them anyway, which is going to be really hard. And it's a tough pill to swallow because sometimes you've had some of those clients for a really long time. But if you want to grow, you've got to then simplify what that looks like, streamline the process so that you can bring in more clients, but what it's really about is so that you can ensure that you consistently deliver a really great client experience over and over and over and over again. Now, everyone likes to refer to McDonald's for this, so I'm going to refer to McDonald's for this as well. It's not that McDonald's makes the best burger, right? It's that it doesn't matter where you go in the world, a McDonald's burger is a McDonald's burger. So you get what you expect.
Time and time and time and time again.
Yeah.
Anywhere. Yeah, it's funny. I've just got onto, I always forget the name of it, Whimsical or Whisper. It's like a Miro mind mapping tool. And 2 projects I'm working on right now is number 1, to map my lead generation client acquisition journey in a visual. And then the second one is the onboarding delivery process. And I have my start where I run my social media, and I have my end where the client gets 8 clients. And then I just map everything in the middle as far as I know it, get the team to also tell me what it looks like. And then we start to see the bigger pieces that need SOPs and need fine tuning and need attention. So you go from start to finish, fill in the middle, work out what happens in a visual, in the simplest way you can visually show what's going on, and then take it from there. So I'm just working on that at the moment so that everyone knows what's going on.
Awesome.
We always need the pictures.
It's really important. Like for a client now, I'm working through with them the sales process of exactly so that we can deliver a really great experience to every single person that they have come to their business. Is like, this is the exact steps we're going to take. But the sales process doesn't start with that. The sales process starts with, how are we training our people? Are we doing role playing? Where are we doing role playing? What is the role playing? How do we give real time feedback for people when they're doing the sales? so that we can get it as close to the time as possible. And then how are we using that information to retrain people as required, or train the whole team, or take things that's working really well for one person and making it part of the process.
Mm,
And then we have the, okay, this is what the sales flow looks like, and this is how we deliver the best possible sales experience to someone.
exactly. It's a build, though. It's a build, and I think coming right back to the start of today, where we talk about bottlenecks for business owners. We are generally business owners learning on the job as we go to the next stage. Once we've kind of been at it for a little while, like if we've done a startup or started our own business, from scratch and then grown over the years, we would all do it so differently in the next 10 years. Like if I was to start a business again, I would do it completely differently based on the knowledge I have. And I probably still don't have enough to get me to the next 5 years, right? But I was just, God, I'd be shortcutting this 5, right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and there's a whole different mindset to the way I would go with business now, but I'm still in the trenches learning and expanding. So I'm still not quite the guy that's going to come in with a wad of cash going, okay, we're going to build it like this because I've got all this experience, right? I know how it's going to look, but we're getting there. It's just you come at a build completely different to being the person in it, building it from the ground up, right? You pull it into existence from the future. So yeah, we're just always upskilling as business owners to the next stage. And that's the problem, because we have to keep, as 𝐓𝐿𝐴 would say, dying to ourselves every step we take.
Yeah. Look,
Right?
yeah, good reference point. And that is the case. In my experience, I think the hardest part of this is it's very easy for me or you to look at another business in our areas of expertise and go, cool, this is what the problem is. For your everyday person that is in amongst it, they're generally working in their business, not on their business. So like they don't actually understand what the bottleneck is. The way to do that is you've got to make some time to step back. And as a general rule, if you feel like you're not making enough money, or there's friction, or things aren't quite working, start with following the customer journey from the minute that they hear about who you are to them buying and us delivering and what happens. Because from an operational point of view, that's going to highlight some things.
That's
And
incredible to
then,
map out. That's the first thing you map out, because then that's your sales process on the outside.
yeah, and I'm talking about everything from, like, if we have clients that work with us for 12 months, well,
Mm.
like, what's the ongoing conversation? If they have a problem, how do we resolve that? Like, and you're gonna like straight away you're gonna find some things. And if you're not sure what to do, or you get stuck, and let's say you're really struggling with your employees, maybe you need to talk to someone who's like HR, leadership, a coach, whoever that may be, to help you out with it. I guess where I'm going with this is, don't be afraid to ask for help, because those bottlenecks, if your business stops growing because of the bottleneck, at some point your business is going backwards, because even if it's just inflation that is eating at it, but it won't just be that, because once your business stops growing, your good employees at some point are going to leave,
Yeah.
because they're good employees, so they want to grow. And you're also going to start losing customers, because the next competition will come along who's bigger and better and doing more things, and they will, I don't want to say steal your customers, but your customers will gravitate towards that because they will outgrow you.
Yeah, it's
So
interesting.
in short,
Growth isn't all about revenue, is it? It's not about, like, it always feels like when you're looking at businesses, there's constant pressure to grow, right? It's like, can't we just sit still and just like enjoy everything? But it's not about that. It's like the growth is literally what you're saying. Like, all humans need to grow, and business is just a representation of that, or an
ab-
expression of that.
absolutely. And growing your
Yeah.
business does, like, you as a person, you pretend like, if you suddenly have more money and you can hire a cleaner and get like food cooked for you and all those other things, well, yes, you can. After you've worked on your business, go sit still, right? Like, and then you can get to a point where I've got clients that they now work 4 days instead of 7, right? So they can
Totally.
sit still for a little bit, right? So like, but yeah, you can't, like, your business needs to move forward. I've never, and like, someone may prove me wrong one day, but at this point, I've never seen a business that's stayed still that hasn't struggled because of it.
All right. On that note, then, anything else to do with bottlenecks? Drop a comment below if there's the next stage of bottlenecks. Speaking of which, I'm just being one right now as I've got to go jump on another podcast. How funny! And I am the bottleneck in this podcast, so I've got to go and jump on that one. So thanks everybody for joining us on this one, the Social Butterfly, where we go live weekly, unpacking everything around business. Michael, thanks for that. There's a heap of insights that we could unpack there and a heap of conversations that we could do. Guys out there, I hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any comments or questions, as always, drop them down below. If you'd like us to talk about something, let us know. If you'd like to pop on with us and be a guest, we'd love to see you here and chat about things around, chat with things that are going on for you, because there's a lot happening in business. It's a massive space. Michael, thank you. I will see you next week, same time, same place, talking awesome things. Everyone else, have a good week. See you out there.